You're about to listen to Pastor Bidemi Mark-Mordi of the Well Oasis International.
The question you should be asking Jesus is, who did not touch me? Don't forget that Jesus had been in the habit of feeding people. Don't forget that Jesus had been in the habit of healing people. For you to know that this was not about physical healing, Jesus said to her, you took a risk of faith, and because of that you are now made whole. Number one. And then what's the other thing? He said, go in peace, you are made whole then of thy plague. Which meant that because you have now achieved wholeness, you've been saved, you've been delivered, you are protected, you are preserved. Healing is it just comes with the territory of salvation. Who touched me? Today is Sunday. All across the globe, people milled to church today. How many of them went there to touch Jesus? For some of us, it's become what we do. I don't know whether you are that kind of person that, how many of us on a Sunday, if you don't go to church, it means like something happened to you. Years ago, I had to get to the point that I had to train myself to say, if you don't go to church, you're not a sinner. Because it was becoming very religious, I had to show up in church. You understand it? So even when it wasn't convenient at any level, I had to show up in church because I was ticking the boxes. But I got to a point, and when I reached that decision and it was part of my life, because I was trying to make sure that I was following Jesus, not following all of those things. And yes, I know the scripture, do not forsake the assembly of the brethren together. But that was me trying to make sure that my processes with God were real. So I woke up one Sunday and I sat down. My husband said, you don't go to church. I said, I don't go to church. I said, wait in the app. I said, nothing. Are you there vexed? Nope. Why are you not going to church? I said, why do I have to go to church today? I had to prove to myself that my spirit could handle not showing up and not feel like I have missed heaven. Do you understand it? Did I make it a habit? No, of course not. But what is the point of coming? Everybody is dancing. I can see everything going around. Your face is like this. If someone was dancing and was looking at you for too long, they will lose their joy. Do I need to announce to you that Jesus did not touch you? You did not touch Jesus. Everybody is just on their lane. Jesus said, who touched me? Who touched me? Who dared to fuse themselves with me? Who dared to become one with me in this crowd? Who dared? Because it was about the spirit. Do you know what they said? They said Jesus felt that virtue left him. What's another word for virtue, you know? What's another word for power? Holy Spirit. Jesus felt his spirit leave, a part of him leave into this woman. Because that was what she came for. It was just that because she came for the right thing, even that which she didn't come for, she got. That's why I keep saying to people that if Jesus does not do anything again, we used to show up. We used to show up. If you've been 12 years and men are the ones that have taken everything that you owned, if you finally do get to Jesus, will you show up for the sake of Jesus, or will you show up for something else? If you will go to John chapter 15, you will see that unless you came to Jesus for Jesus, your journey is still far. So when they preached to us and they told us, come to Jesus and you will marry, they lied. And they told us, come to Jesus and you will give birth to triplets, they were lying. Because Jesus is not the one that will pregnate you. When they said, come to Jesus and your house rent will be paid, Jesus doesn't work in Federal Housing Authority. That's not his job description. There are agencies and there are people for that. Come to Jesus and you will be rich. That's not his job description. If you create wealth, if you follow the systems of wealth creation, wealth will come to you. Is that not it? Otherwise, only Christians would have been having wealth now. I mean, you don't know. Only Christians would have had wealth. If it was just that there is but if I just go to church, then I will make money. There will be no expression like church rat. Why is that expression in existence? Because we come for all the things, but most of us don't come for him. And Jesus stood there, looked at the crowd, up to Peter and said, who came for me today? Which one of you came for me? We are in a generation If as long as you come, it's good enough, because this generation, they don't even go again. Thank God you came. Who touched me? Who touched me? Who has decided that they will attach themselves to me? You know, when you go to the book of Romans and you begin to see what this means, it means that a wild olive was taken and was grafted into the vine, and after a while they became one. Is that not what? And what did Jesus describe us as? He said we were the wild olives that were grafted in. This was the first person that got that grafting, and she initiated it. Jesus did not. She heard, she showed up, which means someone told her. That before she even left home, she said, if I can touch, that is, if I can get there and be fused with him, I shall be saved, I shall be delivered, I shall be protected, I shall be preserved, and then I shall be healed. Who touched me? You can be in the crowd. You might have been in the crowd for 40 years and you have not touched him. When we hear conversations like, how do I know this is God? After a while, you will know if you are one with him. Because the Bible asked a very vital question. It said, who has known the mind of Christ and might instruct him? But Jesus also said something. He said, my Father are one. And then he talked about the disciples being one with him. There is a place of oneness that we get to. That the things that hurt Jesus become the things that hurt us. The things that he's running after becomes the things, or the things that he lived and he's living for become the things that we live and we're living for. Does this mean that every other thing we need stops? No. What the doctors could not do in 12 years, a minute of fusion with Jesus did it suddenly. That should tell you something. That if only you would just make sure that your priorities are right. If I will make sure that my priorities are right. If Jesus would just look and say, who touched me? And I would be able to say, yes, Lord, I came purposely because I want to be fused with you. All this one that you are climbing and you are sweating, they will catapult you there. Fear will almost kill because of the suddenness of it all. Who touched me? Some of us pick churches we go to, not because God sent us there, but because if they are young ladies, they have a wide range of men to pick from. So if I go there, maybe I will find a husband faster. What they did not announce to you on time was that 70% of the men that go there are devils wearing suits. So you see, marriages are contracted in this place. 70% of those marriages are breaking down within the first 1 year. And you're wondering, so I would always ask, did you get married in church? Did you meet? We met in church. We went to workers' meeting. You met in workers' meeting, yes. And then 2 months after you got married, you found out that he's a gambler, yes. You found out that all he does is go to strip joints, yes. Yeah. And then for the first 1 year of that marriage, after you found out, you were still going to church, you were still workers together in church, yes. I usually will say to yourself, that devil junior sister. But why is that the case? Because the reason we showed up was different. So if the devil knows I'm coming for money, he will arrange a business deal that will send me to hell. And the first clique of people that will embrace me in the crowd that are following Jesus will be the ones that have the key to send me to hell with their business deal. But because that is the thing for me, it's called the bait of Satan. You show up and you bite. So you are hooked now. You spend your entire next 30 years in that gathering trying to keep up appearances because nobody must know how you entered. Who touched me? Why did you come? Who touched me? Who dared to attach themselves to me? The thing I love about this story is that this woman was an untouchable at the point she fused with Jesus. So there is no stain dark enough that can refrain me from getting attached to Jesus. This woman came out in a tradition that said if you had a flow, you couldn't come out of your room, let alone your house, not to talk about the streets. And because of that, I see that there is no tradition that can stop me from touching Jesus and fusing with him. Those traditions strong enough. This woman showed up. She had no offering because all that she had, the doctors had taken. And so she wasn't coming to give an offering that will make them recognize her. She was showing up to say, Jesus, my own life is what I give to you. I give my life to you today. Just take my own life. If you can use any broken thing, use me. If you can use people without a voice, use me. If you can use uneducated people, use me. If you can use university dropouts, use me. I am broken in 55 places, but Lord, I have showed up and I'm fusing to you. This is a cling of death. I will not leave you. This is my last and final bus stop. It's either you take me or you send me back where I came from originally. But the thing is, my mind is made up today. I am not shifting anymore. There was no stain bad enough. Jesus did not say, who was the unclean person that touched me? Because the pastor would have announced, some unclean person just entered this place. Jesus did not say, the person who touched me now will not be able to give an offering. He just said, who's ready to fuse with me?
We are the Well. We want to continue this journey with you. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Well Reveals. Worship with us every Sunday at 7B Iche Chris on Yekuluje Street off Abikeanimao Street, Lekki Phase 1 Lagos. Time 4:30 p.m. We are the Well, an oasis for revival, refreshing, and revealing.
It was the peculiarity of the question. English language does the Bible a disservice. In that sometimes there are no words, adequate enough for the translation or interpretation of the original language. The reason why the others could say it wasn't me was because in the language that Jesus spoke it, they understood that it meant giving their lives away, and they were not ready for that. They only came for the bread. They came for the healing. They came for something. They did not come for Jesus. When Jesus said, so who will fuse with me? No. I've just married a wife. If I fuse with you today, who will fuse with my wife? I can't do it. Jesus, you've been talking about raising treasurers in the kingdom. The thing is, I just bought a field. If I fuse with you now, who is going to watch this business start up and grow it? Jesus, let me go and make money for kingdom. At least if I bring the money, I'm still part of kingdom. I can't fuse with you today. Oh Jesus, we just had a set of twins. Your word says, train up a child in the way that he would go, and when he grows up, he will not depart from it. If I take my twins and give them to someone to look after, and I come and I fuse with you, how am I sure that these children will be trained up in the way they should go? Jesus, let me go home and do that for you. After all, I'm still doing something for Jesus, am I not? Jesus, I will do anything. And Saul even said, Jesus, you sent us to go and evangelize, Abi. So let me be the one that is going to call people to come. If I fuse with you, who will go and tell others? Jesus, let me go and do that. Everything but what he wants, that we might be one with him. So when you come, we are also busy. And the only thing I can tell you, if God will truly open our eyes and see, is what Jesus saw when he went to the temple that day. And everybody was buying and selling. When you hear that, you think that they were just buying doves for pepper soup. They were not buying doves for pepper soup. They were buying doves for sacrifice. Do you understand it? The animals that were being sold in the temple that people were bringing money to buy, we were selling them so that people would find stuff to offer sacrifice. Do you understand it? Remember that Jesus had not died, so they were still doing the rituals of the old covenant. So it wasn't that it's the one that they were going to use to bake bread at home that they were selling in the temple. It's the one that we use for living bread for the communion table that they were selling in the temple. It was required for temple worship that was being sold in the temple. Yet Jesus came with a whip and he said, you are a den of robbers. You will not make my father's house. And I'm sure why it shocked them was they were saying, but if we don't sell, then we'll go and buy a dove that is not those days they were very particular about animals without blemish, so they will pick the right ones and bring them to the temple for us to sell. I don't want you in your place of sacrifice to make mistake. This one is certified for Jesus' sacrifice. Take, give me my money. Everybody thought they were helping the journey. Is that not what we thought? But Jesus said, this is not why you come. The first reason why you should always show up is because I want to be one with you. Long time ago, I don't even know at what point, I just got to the point that it doesn't matter who is teaching, it doesn't matter who is not teaching. If I walk into church and I sit down, I didn't come to participate in corporate worship. I came to do stuff with my King. I don't get up anyhow. I don't sit down anyhow. Because it's 2 hours, it's 3 hours, it's 4 hours, it's 5 hours, no matter the number of time. I came for something other than all the activity around me. So sometimes when I see that, things are happening and then people are talking and then people are getting up, I'm wondering, who touched me? Which one of you came for the right reason? Which one of us came because, they said yesterday if you go to Sister Bar, you see what God did, so let's go there today. Maybe there's still some residue of anointing remaining. Why did you come? Who touched me? Will you dare to fuse with me? Because in the end, that's what all of this is. Jesus spent, if you look at John 17, it's one long chapter. Jesus spent time talking about how important it was for his disciples and himself to be one. He showed us the mind of Christ that he came to receive this one as these ones, and as he's going, even though he's leaving them in this world, they are not of this world. He was so confident that a day will come when he will hand them, that is, he will deliver them to his Father. That was what Jesus came to do. And yet he was announcing, who dares to fuse with me? They said, Jesus, not me. Not me. I've just married a wife. I just got a scholarship to go to school. Maybe Jesus, when I come out of school, maybe. But Jesus, you need to understand that when I'm in university, I'm still go to church. So I'm not entirely leaving you. I'm just not fused with you yet. And we go like that, and we go like that, and we go like that. And so we have a situation where there were probably more than 5,000 people, because I'm thinking that if there were 5,000, they would have been able to count them. They just said they were a multitude. For numbers, they were so numerous that they couldn't be counted. And it was just one who came to fuse. Even the disciples came to do disciple work. They did not come to fuse. It was so bad that they could not understand. Peter could not understand that someone will fuse. For your own articulation, the question is, why did you touch Jesus? Did you even touch him? Did you even touch me? Some of us are running this race as it was handed over to us by our parents. Did you ever sit down to understand it for you? Some of us are running it exactly as our pastor said we should run it. Have you ever sat down to say, Lord, show me how I should run with you? What are the things that make for your peculiarity, the peculiarity of your relationship with heaven for yourself? What are the things that people will look at and say, she will never do it, he will never do it? And people will ask, why can he not do it? Say, it's a relationship with God. Because unless you are fused, when the conditions are right, you will deny Jesus. And on a daily basis, people deny Jesus. You deny him when you drive against traffic. I said so. Because in that moment, he's not your Lord, you are not fused. You deny him when you are just at Oshodi and I call you and you say you are in Ikoyi. And you say you are in traffic. In that moment, he's not your Lord. You deny it when they declare they fast. And you're not fasting, but you show up for prayer meeting. And they say everybody that fasted, come and take water and fruit, you go and take. Even though you know you did not fast, you denied. People are saying that you are now becoming very legalistic. But that's the truth. That's the way it is. So this denying of Jesus does not mean that I'm going to take a billboard on Awolowo Road and say, I now renounce Jesus. I will never have the guts to do that. But in the little things where he said love, and I decided to show it, I denied him. And he's saying that the only way we can live the quality of life that he's called us to live, at the standard that he's called us to live, is to be fused with him, to think his thoughts, to feel the way that he feels. Because when you become one with him, the things that make him sad make you sad. The things that bother him bother you. That's why you will be in the room and things are going wrong and he'll be showing you. He's showing you because you have the same eyes with him now. You can see what he's seeing. And he's showing them to you because he expects you to change things around there. That's why he said in his word, "It's a greater works that I have done, you will do." The question is, did you touch him? My prayer today is that we will never get to the point where we say, "No, Jesus, I did not touch you." My prayer is that if you have not touched him, you will make the effort to touch him. Because in the end, there's so much in God that if you make the effort, you will never be tired of him. The question is, did you really touch him? I said it, I believe, last week, and I want to say it again. If you stay in the garage for 1 week, when we open the garage door after, you are not a car, you're still a human being, albeit a very weak one because you have not eaten. So it is not possible that you go and sit in the garage because you are hoping that you become a car. It is the same way if you sleep in the church every single day. It is not the same thing as you touch Jesus. I always say to people, if you have not touched him, let us know, so that we will pray for you until you touch him. Don't pretend like you have touched him, because that makes your case really bad. Nobody's praying for you to come in. And the Bible is very clear that you can't come unless it be given to you. And the only way you get that access is someone is praying for you. So this is not the place where you come in and you begin to pose like you are inside. Meanwhile, you are not even in the periphery of the environment. Not something we hear often. Every time we hear "who touched me," is that if you touch Jesus, your miracle will come. So make up your mind, focus. It doesn't matter the noise you are hearing. Just stretch your hand and touch Jesus' skirt. I'm saying, let your spirit stretch today and receive an incubation from the Spirit of heaven. Only then can we truly stand and say, "God, touch me." He touched me. He touched me. And oh, what joy that floods my soul. Something happened, and now I know he touched me and made me whole. Father, Lord, I honor you. We came, oh God, for you. We came, oh God, for you. All our stretching today is to touch you, oh God. Father, because this is our heart, please touch us. Touch us, oh God. Touch us, oh God. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. Amen.
Thank you for listening to Pastor Bidemi Mark-Mordi. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Well Reveals. We are the well, an oasis for revival, refreshing, and revealing.